Hello, welcome back to Dime to Diamonds. You are tuned in to Suzanne Porsky. I'm with Phoenix Financial Group.
And I'm Mark Farquhar with Phoenix Financial Group.
We're happy you're with us today. We wanted to talk about one of the blogs that just hit our website, phx.financial, if you haven't already visited. It is near and dear to my heart. March is coming up on us super quick. Can you believe... we're going to be in the third month of...
I know, January kind of went by slow, and now it's
February's
starting to fly by now.
Gone.
I know. Even the kids are saying, man, time's going by fast. So you know it's going by fast if the kids say it. So
I had somebody tell me that February was the worst month of the year, and God hates it so much he only gave it 28 days. Not that God made our calendar here in the United States, but I thought it was pretty funny, mostly because of the cold, and we just came out of a snowmageddon and ice, so I was kind of sitting in the house thinking, not being able to leave the driveway.
Right.
He had something, he had some meat in that story there. February being so hard. But March is Women's History Month, and you've heard my story and where Dime to Diamonds came from, and being of that gender, I have a heart for women. Right. And so I am excited to celebrate starting now, talking about March, and that's where the blog came from.
Yeah.
According to a recent survey, 49% of women consider themselves to be the CFO of their households, which is good, up from 41% in 2021. Went on to say in this blog that those numbers are even more impressive when you consider that until 1974, a married woman often needed her husband's permission to open a bank account. Can you believe that?
I think Do you think social media and the access to all the information has made that maybe given the power to women to where they have that information to where they can learn it rather than...
Yes.
The husband back in the day was so busy, maybe they don't want to bother him, or the husband act like it was too much of a bother to teach, so maybe that information...
That's a different perspective.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know my first job, real big girl job when I was in college was at Bank of America. I was just telling this to somebody the other day. I worked there probably about 6 or 7 years before they allowed us to wear slacks on Fridays, but we had to have pantyhose on all the time. We had to have our skirts that had to touch at or below the knee, and so these super long legs, that was not always the most convenient. But and in this blog, it even shares, there was a time when 1970, only 43% of women were even in the labor force. They weren't.
That's probably it right there.
The labor force changed.
Yeah, exactly.
And for the longest time, women were either secretaries or bankers.
Now they're up high positions and leaders of businesses and all that. So,
Absolutely. It's interesting, and that's why I put this in this blog that we posted, is just how even back in the day, when I worked at the bank, women had to have a cosigner, had to have a male cosigner.
Really?
Yeah.
They couldn't go in there and
so my dad, it was either my dad or I had to get married, and it would have to be my husband because, again, the labor force was just coming with women.
Right.
And I don't think I don't think they knew what was coming.
No.
Get out of the way. Anyways, so as we were talking, it's just in 1970, the Equal Credit Opportunity Act was passed for us women. 1980 was the first female trading exchange president. 1990, which wasn't that long ago, FMLA helps women remain in the workforce. And I think that's another reason I have such a heart for it. And I'm going to touch back on my story. When I fled on June 2nd, 2013, and after being held against my will for 3 days, went to that woman's shelter, there was just myself and 2 others that we didn't have stitches. We did not have any broken bones.
Right.
We were trashed emotionally, physically, not physically, but emotionally, mentally, and financially. And it really... You leave a 4,300 square foot custom home that I just dumped solid $200,000 in for a remodel and all that. I fled for my life, get there, and I'm broke, busted, disgusted. And I realized then that we've got still a tremendous issue in this nation where statistically, I learned in 2017 with Serena Williams in the Purple Purse Foundation, 98.6% of people, predominantly women, will not leave a situation, whether it's work or a spouse or a friendship, because financially they don't know a way out.
Wow.
And so I just went on this whole, we need to educate because I believe education is empowering.
Right.
So hearing that March is dedicated to Women's Month, that's where there's just so many things that you and I have talked about in the landscape of women. And even here in this, as I was scanning over it again, women will ask for help.
Yeah.
They'll ask for directions.
Men try to figure it out on their own, and
that's okay. You guys have to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's not a right way and a wrong way. It's just recognizing gender.
Yeah.
And being open to it, that we can have varying opinions and strengths and weaknesses, and that's how we can come together.
It is better, by my personal life, to have your wife with you and know what's going on in your personal finances. It just works a lot. It works smoother. And I don't know. It's just.
Well, you're a unicorn. Yeah. You're an amazing husband and dad and father. And
I had to realize that, but I'm just saying,
Right.
I was that guy that kind of, I'm going to do it all myself. I don't want her to have to worry about it. And that's just sometimes not the right way to do it. So anyway.
Well, and like with so many of our clients that we get, the husband, because culturally speaking, has been the breadwinner.
Mm-hmm.
He's worried about making sure his wife is taken care of if anything is to happen to him.
Right.
Whether it's him transitioning and passing away, or if he is to get injured or ill. I think in the at least last 5 years, if not 10 years, we have seen this opening where women are wanting to be involved in the decision making before something bad happens.
Right.
Statistically, I think it's 78%. Men will transition before a woman.
Right.
That's statistically age-wise. And then we have the women that are left. I think of one of our more recent widows. Her husband did everything.
Right.
And she lives in Tulsa. I don't want to say her name. But she wasn't familiar with on his 401k, he had self-directed, so he's in there playing with the stocks all the time.
Right.
And
She
the
didn't know how to
required
do
minimum
that, yeah.
distributions that were necessary. And just, it's already you're processing a loss, and then
Right.
you have this. So
Right.
definitely glad that she was referred to
and
us.
I just think it's important for us men to inform our wives before we're gone, because it makes their lives a lot easier. I mean, just think about that, how hard that is, not knowing anything,
Right.
how to do that or what to take care of. And then that's kind of what we pride ourselves in, is that advocate for people to help them in those situations as well. So
Right. So definitely when people ask us, what sets your business, your practice aside from everybody else? We are very relational. We are holistic.
right.
We can be transactional, but I promise you this, we will take care of the transaction that you've come in for, and then wrap our arms around it, and we will get you whole and completely
Right.
organized financially, and make sure that the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, because nobody is guaranteed tomorrow.
No, none of us are.
Right.
That's right.
We found out that women have different approaches to investing, as we're talking, and financial goals, and we've
Yeah,
said
they're
this.
more conservative usually.
Yes, the man is worried about the woman. The
Right.
woman is worried about her children, their children,
Right.
grandchildren.
We see that a lot, even with before we read this, you see that with our clients coming in, that
In their
the women are
church
worried
and their
about the
fur
whole-
babies.
Right.
They're like, where is Phoebe going to go
Yeah.
if something happens to us?
Right.
And the husband's like, didn't even think about that. Like Banjo. What's going to happen with Banjo? Who gets Banjo?
I don't know.
We see here that statistically, it's while many women are confident about the daily financial management skills, some are a lot less confident about investing. One study showed that 75% of women feel confident about balancing a checkbook, but only 19% are confident about selecting investments that align with their goals. To take it further, 52% of men say they are confident they're on the right track with putting money away for retirement, but only 42% of women feel that way. And I was sharing with you, I wanted to touch on this, is that we just had a client. She was referred to me last year, and she came in. She was going through a divorce.
Right.
Very, very limited income. She said she was awarded by the judge half of her husband's retirement money. So she wanted to know what to do with this lump sum and how to navigate.
It's important if she cashes that out. It's a huge situation.
Because it's qualified money. So I did the Q, drew a line, the NQ on the other side of that line, and said qualified has never before been taxed.
Right.
So if you have $200,000 given to you, I'm just throwing a number out there, you're only going to get 75%, keep 75% of that because of that tax. If she was under the age of 59, she had to pay the 10% penalty plus the 25% in taxes. So you're looking at 35% of the value of that 200. Now, if she left it in qualified, so we went like to like, it went from a 401k qualified to a IRA, we could then start strategically planning and placing that so she could. And so just her alone, saving her all that money on taxes, because she does not need that lump sum right now.
Yeah.
And it can continue to grow tax deferred, and we can pull an income stream off of that she won't outlive.
Yeah.
And that was super important. And that's where she knew the importance of investing. I don't think we find many people that understand the difference between qualified money and non-qualified money.
We have to explain that quite a bit, which, I mean, it's good to do it anyway, but there's a lot of people that don't know the difference.
Right.
So, I had a lady got divorced, and she calls me and said, hey, I need to pull out $30,000. She got half of her husband's money. She's going to buy a house. And I'm like, you don't want to do that because, and we had the same discussion, qualified, non-qualified. But it just makes a big difference if those couples could be on the same page, knowing what they have and what happens if this happens, have their ducks in a row and all that. So anyway.
And she has other strengths. This client I'm talking about has so many amazing strengths, and I've met her husband. But I want to touch on our quality of service that we get.
Yeah, tell the story on this, because this is a good...
So she calls to say she came in, said she was awarded half of the retirement.
Right.
She got the divorce decree, sent that off to the plan administrator for her husband's company. It went to the bank that holds the funds, and they said they did not like the language that the attorney put in the divorce decree.
Quadro,
the QDRO. So she called me and said, what do I do? It's the judge, those are her words, versus this huge institution.
Right.
Institution's got the money, so you have to play their game.
Yeah.
So I said, why don't we get on a conference call and find out what language they want and then tell your attorney, and then we'll go that route. So we did, and the attorney said, well, we need $300 to process this request, this motion, to see the judge again. She didn't have it. She was devastated. I talked to the law firm, and I said, I am willing to pay that for her. This is that important.
Yeah.
They took the money, and then they said 2 days later, no, we're just not interested. It's just not worth our time or money. We're not. It's not financially advantageous for us to do this. So she was devastated. And woman to woman, I've been in the battle of that kind of stuff and said, you're not alone. I do not know how we're going to do this, but we're going to take one step at a time, one day at a time. Very long story short, learned how to file a motion. She became friends with the bailiff at the courthouse and the judge. The judge was wrung out, very frustrated with the carrier, or with the institution, financial institution. But we
they're
did.
not helping either, are they? I
mean, nope. They just kept saying, nope, we don't like that language either. And I'm like, you literally just said, right here, this is exactly the language. And then the judge did that. So finally, the last time the judge went in and put how many times she had us put how many times she had went over this, and she wasn't messing around anymore.
Yeah.
Like, give the lady her money. So that all took place. So that started October 26th. She got her money this morning in her account.
Isn't that crazy?
They said they mailed her a check on the January 29th.
Right.
I've been up here every day, twice a day, have asked all of our tenants around us.
Yeah.
Everybody looking, the post office looking for this check.
The provider.
And the provider said, nope, USPS, that's the only way it goes, no tracking.
That's amazing they only do mail. Mm-hmm. Isn't that, with today's technology.
But she talked to the branch manager who was very, very flirtatious with her.
Oh, really?
And I'm not going to go into details, but she was able to have a check overnighted.
Wow. Because
she played the woman role with a male. We're still there, 2025.
Still having to deal with that.
We're still having to do that, but she got her money.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make us feel real good as women that you have to play that game.
Yeah, right.
But this morning, actually last night, she texted and said, "You're never going to believe this. The money was put in my account." So I say all that to say, we give amazing customer service and support. We get in there with you, and we stand with you. We hold space. We figure the problem out, and we get it taken care of. So patience can be a virtue is my next bullet point. Holy Moses. It was saying Wells Fargo survey showed that women trade 27% less frequently than men. I can tell you that in my house alone. Husband's a day trader.
Yeah.
I can't even look over in the morning at that, watching the market do its thing. And I watch it every day, all day, scrolling on the bottom of our computers. But yeah, he likes to day trade. And as we know, women are much more philanthropic.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Absolutely, positively. Like I said, they want to make sure
the husband's more centered on the spouse, the wife, and then it's a bigger picture for the woman. So,
yes.
Yeah.
And how about this? That other client we just wrapped up last week, she was referred to us, 82-year-old woman.
Yeah.
And she said, I don't know how. She asked the person who was referred to us after that lady came back and said how she loved her appointment. That lady came in and said, could I refer this lady? She's 82 years old. She's on a fixed income. She doesn't know if you can help her, but would you just take a look at everything?
Right.
She had a trust in place. Her husband passed away. She feels like there's more that she could be doing. So she came in with her tax returns.
Right. Yes.
That's what I asked. I said,
that desire people have, that's important. I mean, you could have a mess. Somebody could have a mess, but if that desire's there,
we can help them.
Yeah, that's right. So
found out she was sitting in a house that was totally paid off. She had to buy a car because hers wasn't reliable. We were able to get a second on that house large enough that it could make the payment, and it's still a fraction of what her car payment was.
Got her out of that variable
retirement
82
fund.
years old, was in the variable fund, yeah.
And crazy is that it goes up and down variable, and so her pay was going up and down every month.
Right.
You talk about unnerving at the age of 82.
Yeah, I know.
And living basically deposit to deposit.
Yeah.
And and then remember we saw on the tax returns, I was like, what is this? And she said 80 acres, and I really wish I knew who to contact to get it listed, how much to ask for it.
She had 80 acres in Muskogee County, and just sitting there. She didn't use it for
nothing
or anything. And then she had the mineral
rights,
oil leases.
And like you were telling somebody today, we aren't real estate agents, but we're in this industry, all things financial, and so
just another example. We get all the avenues together, and
we put an extra $500 back in her budget every single month, which is huge for her. And the peace of mind built she wanted an emergency fund. And that's what we do. You come in or you refer somebody to us, and we say, where are you now? Show us what's going on. Where do you want to be? What makes you feel comfortable? And she wanted an emergency fund.
Right.
And then she gets to say how much. So if she would have said 5,000, I'm going to say, why don't we do 10,000? Because I want you to wake up and go to sleep with peace.
Right.
If 5 is going to get you by, 10 is going to make you feel good, and 15 is probably going to give you a little extra kick when you go to Hobby Lobby and you want to buy something. You know what I mean? And then she said she wanted her car loan paid off.
Yeah.
That $458 car payment was coming out of a very tight budget, and she said, when I want to get something a little extra at the grocery store, I don't want to be stressed out about it. Exactly. $82. Yeah. Because if you put a second, which it went in first position on her house, you go from a 9.5 to 4.99, and you spread out the term and talk to the family and her about it, her daughter, and that's what we do. We work to make everything work for you.
And we had ourselves, real estate, loan officer, accountant. So we brought all them together to make this whole deal work out for her, to put her in a better position than she was. So,
and now she's got a partnership.
Yeah.
And she will text me and email and say, I just got this email.
Right.
Make sense of it. Do I need to do anything? I'm like, yes, no, maybe, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just works. So also we talk about women facing challenges and opportunities. While women's roles in the workforce and society have evolved significantly over the past few decades, many women still face unique challenges in pursuing their financial independence. We have a gender pay gap.
Yeah.
Thank God, not in the industry we're in right now,
Right.
you and I.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of its financial education is also an issue, and lingering societal expectations, which is definitely still there. And I will continue to talk about that on another podcast, Rooted and Rising, because it's not the men's fault. It's us women. But I make sure that all the laundry's done and there's fresh sheets every Sunday,
right.
and that there's food for us to eat. You know, like meal planning, or a suggestion that he be prepared that we're going to dinner somewhere. But I honestly don't think he's ever and will never go, hey, what are we going to do for dinner Monday night? Do we need to go to the grocery store? One, because his expectations are very low. My husband was a bachelor for 17 years. Sandwiches work.
Yeah.
But you guys are easier, where we're like, we want to create an environment and an experience because we're women.
Right.
We want to nurture.
And the organizational skills, I would say you guys are very strong on that. So that's what's happened in our partnership is I bring stuff, but then it's been so great merging and partnering up, because just the organizational helping the clients I've brought into Phoenix, just getting that organizational skills.
You're amazing at execution. You're in the details, where I am still out there going, who can I talk to? Who can I help?
Yeah.
Who can we, where do you want it? Where do we need to be used?
Right.
Because of my faith, I'm like, God, tell me where. Bring in the
Right.
people that you want us to work with. Somebody asked today what maybe our avatar is as far as clients. I don't care how old or how young you are. If you have a desire to financially get yourself organized or make sure you're organized, that is the biggest qualification
Right.
for us.
Exactly.
Absolutely. This is what is so interesting. And you and I heard this while we were in Kansas, this huge, great wealth transfer that's coming up.
Right.
Women are expected to inherit more than $68 trillion in wealth that the baby boomers are passing down. So whether husbands are leaving money to their wives or couples are passing a nest egg down to their children,
Right.
women are going to benefit disproportionately, and they need to be prepared to handle the influx of wealth.
Yeah.
And I had an appointment over the weekend talking to somebody, and they said, have you ever realized that you can have somebody that has maybe their paycheck to paycheck and they get a huge influx of money? They will burn through it and go back paycheck to paycheck. And I'm like, it's a mindset.
Right.
It is literally a mindset. And I won't go off on a rabbit trail, but money is energy, and
just
we're
'cause you
not
get
going to run
a
out
big
of it.
lump sum, your bad habits could destroy that
Right.
just as quickly as you got it. So
Right.
anyway, it is important.
So in the blog, I talk about the important step towards financial empowerment, working with a financial professional like somebody like ourselves, and how important that is, because we have knowledge that
Yeah.
it's just like going to a dentist. I know enough about teeth, but I do not know the intricacies
Right.
of it, or a doctor.
Yeah. It's just amazing, these two stories we've talked about, just the gathering of their information and then getting all of us together and just coming up with a plan and then seeing things. You've got your money and all that, but when you get people like us to help you, maybe stuff comes up that you're not seeing or
Right.
realizing that you can do, or you're not quite knowledgeable in that area, and it's just other opportunities arise that wouldn't have happened. So,
Well, I was talking to the CPA that works out of our office the other day, and she had one of the clients, she referred us. And her husband unexpectedly passed away at a young age, but he had, I think she said 7 different 401ks from
right.
different jobs in his career. And he just kept thinking, I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get organized. I'm going to take care of it. That's where women, I'm encouraging you to have the conversation. At least set the appointment up with a financial professional, and we can start that conversation with them, and ask them,
Right.
you know, hey, do you have any of these? And then we are your ally. We are your help, and we will help nudge that along to get you financially organized. We see that a lot happen when we do estate planning, and we talk to them about funding their trust. Bring us in all the statements from all the different companies. We're going to change that beneficiary to the trust and not a person. And so then when somebody transitions, it's not creating a tax burden, but it's also a good time for us to go, hey, let's get you organized.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's pare these down. And
that organization does as we see, does wonders just getting organized and knowing what you have, getting all your ducks in a row and all that. It's just amazing, rather than just letting it sit. Just don't let it sit there, and then when it happens, go, what am I supposed to do?
Right.
It's just, so.
And there's just...
And we love helping people do that. I mean, it's fun. It's fun helping
Absolutely.
people do that,
But again, I would say if we had anything, the desire has to be there. And not necessarily from both of them, just one of the people. We do have people that come in with the greatest intentions, and I mean, they're few and far between, but they come in and they think they want it, and they want the organization until they have to show up again and again. They're like, yeah, well, we've got time. And it's like, that's probably one of the biggest misnomers out there, is thinking you have time.
Yeah.
Because you just, you
like
never
you said
know.
earlier, we're not guaranteed anything. So
No, I don't know if you heard about that cruise ship. They just, somebody had a rare, weird infection, and it just spread like wildfire over the
I didn't hear
weekend.
about that.
I'm like,
Man.
gosh, I have people that are like, hey, we're going to go on vacation and be back. We'll take care of it when we get back. I'm like, but can you?
Never know.
Are
Never
you?
know. Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
thoughtful preparation and collaboration are key to building a long-term strategy, and we're here to support them
Right.
and their family in navigating every single stage of their financial journey. And women, I want to help you become more confident. And men, I want you to have a peace of mind that everything you built in your legacy is going to be properly taken care of. That's another thing I hear men also when they really have a heart-to-heart. Do they want their wife, who maybe her needs and wants aren't heard? Do they want another male to take over the keys of their kingdom and say, this is how we're going to do the investments and this is how we're going to run things? I know statistically in January, there was about 72% of women leaving those male advisors and going and finding a female advisory firm so they could be heard and their wishes carried out.
Right.
So if we can be that to you, we would love the opportunity to talk to you. If you have any questions, if you want to reach out to us, please visit our website, phx.financial. You will find it there. They can book appointments with us. We can chat with you. Whether you're near or far, I've got clients all over we have clients all over the United States. So don't let that, we've got so much wonderful technology.
Right. Yeah.
We, between Zoom and phone calls,
Right.
we can meet with you, talk with you.
Just talk to us, gather your information up, let us make some recommendations for you. And if you like it, great. If not, it's fine.
Perfect. All right. Well, we want to thank you so much. This has been a quick 30 minutes today. We want to thank you for joining us. You have been listening to Dime to Diamonds. I am Suzanne Porsky with Phoenix Financial Group.
And I'm Mark Farquhar. Have a great day.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.